looking for drugs, looking for romance. Window seats in the left bar corner usually taken, looking out on the street. Who's sitting there? Big pint drafts on tap, wine cooler for me. I steal cherries from the bar. I am gently nudged, receive smiles and nods, am ignored or snubbed by the irregular ignorant, am grabbed affectionately by those familiar. Push up to the bar and order a red wine cooler with lemon and ice and lots of cherries, please. Open mic is in the back room, poetry, stand-up, music, sometimes crazies on stage. I love it all. I take black beauties, write poems and draw at my square wood table with crooked legs, rocking my pint of draft or cooler between watching the performers and scanning the audience for my brooding cowboy singer poet, Kel Robertson in black hat and fringed jacket, for Mike Wilhelm of the Old Charlatans in silver and black leather, Father Sarducci, comedian in priest robes, strange guitarist, songwriter, freaky Ralph Eno, gyrating on the stage, writing a song for Patti Smith, some sparkling drag queens at the mic, crazy street poets whose words remain on the street sheet somewhere in time. Here's that comic with a brown bag on his head and a cool, lean, black jacketed saxophonist with a ponytail blowing jazz, and all those multitudes I missed or don't recall, their brief moments of consequence. And that night I won the poetry contest, Why I Love the Coffee Gallery, in 4 simple lines, read on stage by my cowboy poet. My small moment of celebrity so many years ago in my favorite hangout. Sometimes I got to stay after hours when the doors were locked. I belonged. That's just a small part. Is there an audio? I have no audio.
And we're gonna get into the open mic. I just have a few quick things to say. I want to say thank you to Kathy, Rick, and Art at the Cave, and everybody that's been helping out to make this a great experience for everybody. We're going to be working out the kinks for these first few months until we figure it out. But I mean, things are already looking up. As you can probably figure, you're being asked to keep your masks on during the entire reading. We're going to wipe down the microphone after each person who speaks. The bathroom is up the stairs, up the ramp and the stairs through the exit doors. There's two back there. And we'll hear from about 6 readers. Then we'll have our featured reader. And then we'll take a little break so you can buy books and stretch your legs, et cetera. And then whoever else is on the list will be after that break. I think that's everything. Oh, we have a $5 suggested donation over by where the podium where Morgan is. If you're able to do that, we really appreciate that. That money is going to be split between our featured reader, the gallery, and Printed Matter Vancouver. And I think that's it. Did I forget anything? All right, yeah, have a good time. Our feature is Raúl Sánchez. We're very happy that he's here for the first time since 2013. Yeah, give a little applause if you were with us in 2013 when Raúl read that. And I think we're ready to get things going. Thanks so much, everybody.
Okay, I'm just gonna do this.
Open mic reader is your turn.
You know, they say that fools rush in. So here I am. I wanted to share with you something tonight that we did at the Arts Alive Day. I don't know if any of you were there. We did a community poem. And I have invited a couple of the poets that were involved to read it with me today. And I'll just explain to you what it was. Of course, I wrote a poem to explain what it was. This is in reference to Archibald MacLeish's line, "A poem should not mean, but be." What might a poem be? Patched together from snippets in answer to a prompt about community, whatever comes to mind, scribbles in a jar, mindfully arranged into something like a flow, ordered somewhat, scotch taped pieces, creases read between the lines, spaces for silences, spark energy, echo, synchronicity, words in real time as we speak them, line by line. So everybody put all these lines in a big jar. There was a million of them. And I got some help from Marge Hogan, who's here tonight. And we put them all together. And then none other than Christopher Luna was on hand to help read, as was Armin, who is not here tonight. So I invite Marge and Christopher to join me in reading what came out of this on the beautiful day that we all were together to share Arts Alive.
Just be aware there's a guitar right behind you.
There's a guitar. Okay.
Let's do this.
Okay, let's move it. Okay, it started, this is a community poem at Arts Alive, Artstra in Vancouver, September 18th, 2021. This is a preface that was written on a card by the mother of a young girl with Down syndrome, and I thought it could serve as a preface for the poem. Community is harmony in our family community and reaching out to others needing a little harmony. She was born with Down syndrome, and I said, visit, everyone needs a little harmony. 22 years later, a lot of harmony. The poem is in 4 parts. 1, we stand alone and together under the life-giving rain, rainy days for introspection, coming together through acts of selflessness, is that it is ours and I am here. One thing I love is the diverse interconnectedness too of genuine beauty, faith in action. It's alive, living, changing, full of diversity. We are earnest, hardworking people. We are life and the living, the pho and the noodles, the dancing in the park.
2, working and playing in the rain, it's benevolence, the diversity coming together. One thing I love about our community is the arts, the people, the diversity interdependent, compassion, love and joy, good food, culture, warm people, support. One thing I love about our community is how the flowers sparkle in the dewdrops and how we appreciate nature in the world. River, mountains, sea, all mean the world to me. Our connection to the past, movement toward unity.
Thank you. 3, I love the creative expression from the artists, the beautiful landscape, the way the light shatters hitting the river and dances around, the joyous families, the couples falling in love, and the friends laughing on the grass, the honor of being present with art, boundless wood, possibility, Artstra. One thing I love about our community is the love and support artists show toward each other. Rain, but when it's sunny, the heavens explode on earth, the trees, thousands and thousands, parks, our willingness to help each other, colorful self-expression, open, resilient, hopeful, and generous, looking for the good that is possible, baptism of giants, wounded is salved.
for. The community wants to and works to overcome adversity. One thing I love about community is how we share cultures and traditions. Community care is abolition and liberation for all. We are loving and caring. One thing I love about my community is the people of Battleground are so nice and friendly. FRMRXS, PARKSX. I love to walk to get coffee, sharing the love, camaraderie, spirit, those who strive for equity, diversity, meeting all the wonderful people that come to these events. What I love about community is collaboration. Thanks to our community.
And as promised, when I'm finished, I will write this down. Our next reader is going to be Ashley Holt. Please welcome Ashley to the mic.
Okay. I've got some new tan lines to layer on the old of my skin. Summer sun kissed through the window of a temp controlled cubicle. The combo of this and this and that layers on my heart, on my shoulders, on my aching wrist. Multitasking coping mechanisms, a trail of endless new ideas to keep me reaching. Disassociation vacations, forward motion. My ovaries sit ancient, hiding empty, heavy with the 50-year-old's decision in my 31-year-old body. Fractured childhood, deceased fertility, unlikely roommates in my skin. Heart hurting, vagina dry, wrist throbs, anxiety accelerates. Shame spirals for asking for help. Shame spirals for feeling alone when needing help that I never asked for. Shame spirals for being a human with emotions that need. This poem lies unfinished, like my to-do list, like a drafted email to my lawyer, like my bills ripped open and abandoned, like the text message I never send to my nearest and dearest, like the laundry that trails from my door to my bed. A chrysalis of old skin and new, I look to the cracks to emerge. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Ashley. Next, we're going to hear from Jennifer Pratt Walter. Jennifer, really excited to have you. See if I could do Scott Proud here. While he's here, don't look, Scott.
She's doing fabulous. This is called Season of Change. I sense the seasonal change coming in the ballet of gray swans paddling autumn over the lake like music. Early morning renders everything soft. The arch of wild geese calling each other to courage. The flood of bush tits flocking to bird feeder with perpetual motion. Little spiders of rain begin to fall, and boundaries are erased between the fields and the forest, between a sky and skin and a reason to live, between broken and waning and limber and whole. I'm aware, like unspooled yarn leading me on, just how precarious life can be, yet also how those who break easier seem to heal easier in their hours and years. I scan the unsure horizon, paddling madly inside like those unseen swan feet, turning the water to the right destination for the right reasons. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. So good to look out and see so many familiar faces and a lot of new faces, which is really exciting. Next, we're going to hear from Cliff Wilson. Welcome to the Ghost Town stage. Cliff.
It's been a long time. Let's try to figure this out a little bit here. Okay, everybody hear me? I got up to 5 minutes, right? Because this is 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, I got 4. I'll stop. Okay. Yeah. So this one I wrote well before COVID came on and Black Lives Matter. And it's kind of actually was intended more as a high-powered spiritual physics lesson. So anyways, this is called Rainbow White. There is a story about a color named red. The color of beginnings and of endings. It is full of energy and vitality, as well as moral wrath. The vigor in red carries the world on its back with power and force. Orange is like it, but tones down the vibe. A little bit more subtle, warm but not hot, the color of fire, not heat itself. It is more communal and social than red, collecting forces together with intention. Yellow is light and hovers about, all childish and bright. It jumps ahead bravely, then suddenly retreats in caution. It gives us levity, but hides its trepidation in its brightness. Green is the balance. Its grace is grace and foundation. Impossible to hate, it is a loving state. Easing us higher or lower between warm and cool, it lives all the time in both day and night. We refresh ourselves in fairy green in April in the woods, but not so with aquamarine, the jealous tone. Take me seriously, it says, expend effort to understand me. Gateway to spirit, concealer of danger, bearer of promise, it escorts us into that which is higher up. With sky blue, or thereabouts, we land on that higher plane. It frees us to become our expansive self, strong, independent, cosmically inclined. This is good, for blue's strength is needed to complement red's. We retreat before red, but we chase blue and try to stream into it. Indigo is midnight blue as far as I can see. Calmly but soberly, it promises us a new kind of rainbow. Unlike the blue of the sky, we seek it only if we choose. If we choose, it guides us to our secret chamber, turning firmly away from the earth by its seriousness to spirit. The wisest color of all is violet, though some prefer deep purple. Anybody? Okay. It hovers aloof, forgetting the earth, and coolly surveys both substance and void. It is unimpressed by superficiality, gabbiness, or sumptuous repast, while the true seeker, it holds honest to the course. But there are 2 colors I must mention here. They are, hold on. They are source and lens, the only colors that are clear. Primal white is the source that contains the rainbow of colors, each of which is but a fragment that can't see the rest. White light lives on both sides between matter and energy. The color lens is dissimilar again. Too earthly for white as it embraces the rainbow, yet it is banished by the colors as it gazes back always to the source. Because the human being must be forever blind to the color of itself, in the color of lens, we find what is underneath all skin colors, for it is too profound to regard the pigments of prejudice in our thoughts. This color is described as kind of like almond blossom pink, or close to the rosy cheek of a Caucasian baby. Yet it bleeds through all skin colors, even as the eye cannot detect it. Henceforward, we define prism pink as the only window for seeing through to our common source in undivided light. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cliff. That's beautiful. All right, next we're going to hear from William Erickson. Come on up, Bill.
I swore I put myself further down on the list, but. All right, let me find stuff. Am I okay to read two if they're like really short? Like, okay, cool. Let's see. So this one is called The Little Known Facts. The thing about hummingbirds is they will die right before your eyes. Like really just die for the fuck of it. All at once, like rain you never saw coming, catching you in the park with your favorite red shirt and notebook and soaking you to hell and back. Even your bones get wet. Even your ideas about things like what painting to hang above the fireplace. And that's when you know you've got to let go, when your bones wash ashore on this ocean you've made for yourself. Let's see. Thank you. So the one is called Shooting, Sinking, Shooting. I've been playing with dreams lately, so this is, kind of a spin-off of a dream that I had. I was at a shooting range on a boat in the Arctic Ocean thinking this probably shouldn't work. In the end, it is always the ice with the secrets, how it encloses around even its wounds. People think that these bullets do wonders, that the water isn't just blood being born. Thank you.
Our featured reader this evening was last here with us when we were at Cover to Cover Books, the second incarnation of Cover to Cover Books over on St. James. And I don't think I would embarrass him too much to say that he blew the roof off the place. People still talk about what happened that night. It was a really great night. So it's been a long time coming getting him back here. He's a dear friend of mine and also happens to be the Poet Laureate of Redmond, Washington. Please welcome my good friend, Raúl Sánchez.
Well, thank you. That day was very, very memorable for two reasons. There was a lot of traffic. I was freaking out like crazy. And then couldn't find the bookstore. Then when I got there, I thought, oh, I had two choices, either go back or cancel. I thought, no, I committed. I'm here. Damn it. I got there. And if you remember, well, you remember what I did then at that time. So I had to get the audience with me. And I started reciting some prayers from India that I know. And in fact, this number here, 108, does anybody know the reference of this number? Okay, 108 is the number of beads that you had to have in the japa, like the rosary, where you chant the mantra. And you do it with the Rudra beads or the beads that are used in the Vaishnava tradition that I was familiar with. And many other things. But I'd like to introduce my friend Gerardo Calderon. He lives in Portland, very convenient. He's gonna help me with some music. And precisely because word that you said right there by the tree, collaboration for me is very important. I'm not the kind of poet that just isolates myself and says, oh, F the rest of the world. If I don't collaborate with other artists, physical, graphic, any type of artistry, then I'm a lost. I feel like somebody swimming in the pool by myself, not knowing what to do. So in this book, when there were no borders, I asked Fulgencio Lazo, who is a wonderful artist from Oaxaca, Mexico, who lives in Seattle. He has a number of exhibits all over the world, to see if he would like to collaborate with me with one of his pieces for the cover art. And here it is. The title of his painting is Spirits Crossing the River, which is very appropriate with the title. Inside, there's Rene Julio, who is a graphic artist and also a muralist. And I asked him to collaborate with me, and he gracefully did it. He made 4 drawings that are in the book here. And also I asked the other poet friends for their advice because, you know, I don't know everything. I need a second set of eyes, sometimes 3 eyes to help me. Anyway, so I met Gerardo over in Titan, one of the Lifius poetry workshops. And I like what he did. And I visited with him a couple of times. He's just an amazing artist. So please, Gerardo Calderon. And to begin with, we talked about the poems. What I'm going to read, there's a list in there that he has there at the foot. I have my tabs, so otherwise I'll get lost. Okay. Well, later on, I'm going to ask audience member 1, 2, 3 member of the audience to help me to read a list of words in Spanish. If anybody knows that, you know, when I call, maybe you can do it. And then another person that can help me read words in English because it's a 2-voice poem. Okay. Colors of life, inspired by the Mayan significance of color. Show me life, red for birth and blood, blue-green of the heavens and the oceans, yellow like the sun and ripe corn, brown earth, fertile pastures, orange fire, destroyer, purifier, blinding gray smoke becomes the blackness of the night and the underworld. Finally, white of bones and change. Mexicatiawi. Mexicatiawi is a word in Nahuatl that means Mexican always move forward. I walked the steps where Zapotec, priest, sorry, let me begin again. This is a little out of sequence. I walked the steps where priests, Zapotec kings, left footprints, rituals performed to invisible gods, Mictlantecutli, Mictlantecihuatl, rulers of the world, and all living things, their energy emanating through temple stones carved, shaped vestiges of reverence to nature, culture found 2 centuries before the Spanish arrived. These standing monuments, proof of our undefeated spirit and struggle, Zapotec, Toltec, Olmec, Mayan, Aztec cultures proof to the world that our ancestors were intelligent people, knowledgeable, cultured, devout beings in harmony with the universe, life and death. The sun shines in its light upon us as we follow the moon path to rivers where we will survive. We will never perish. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My tongue. My tongue retains the roaring sound of rivers of the earth after the rain falling over leaves, branches, and flowers. My tongue is stained with the juice of sweet pitayas, red, delicious, grown under Tonatiuh's rays, our father's son. My tongue reveres nature and all living beings, mountains, rivers, oceans, night and day. My tongue wears quetzal feathers, mystical verse from the Mayan paradise. My tongue impregnated with Calpuli, Tonali, Xochitl, Xochipili, Mictlantecutli, Cuauhtémoc, Moctezuma, Quetzalcoatl, Tomatl, and Centeotl. My tongue speaks of temples, demigods, copal, flowers, medicinal plants, jade masks, golden pectorals, obsidian stones, volcanoes, and blood. My ancient tongue speaks Zapotec, Nahuatl, Purépecha, Tzotzil, Otomí, Chamula, Mayan, Tarahumara. My tongue is my identity, the connection to my people, my roots, my culture. My language is from the earth, from the heavens, from my soul. My tongue speaks, my soul feels the breath of the earth, the sound of the wind, a hecatl, my tongue, my language, my culture, and pride. Thank you very much. Do you know what a milagro is? Catholics probably know, little icons, metal pieces you buy, you put on your favorite saint, you say a prayer to either help you with a health ailment, maybe a situation at home. It could be anything. So you go to your favorite saint and you pin on their cloth this little piece of metal, milagros. Have you ever pinned down a milagro on the cloth of your favorite saint? Tiny silver and brass charms offered to thank for blessings received, a house for the broken home, a split heart for the lost love, praying for the lover to come back, a hand for the injured laborer or the writer that can't write, a mouth for those who speak ill words, praying they'll heal, a foot to complete the journey, to be able to move around, unconfined, unassisted, a body for the departed, or for the living, wishing they'd come home safe after deployment to wars on foreign lands, and the migrants crossing deserts to arrive safe to the promised land or their home away from this world. Milagros, testimony of love, a promise of faith and hope. Thank you. This next poem, it's based on nostalgia. And as we have heard now, COVID and all that crap going around, we are isolated, we stay in our own little coop. So what we do, we watch all movies, we watch all cartoons, right? Okay, so infanticized, maybe. Melancholic, yes. Anxious to be out, of course. We remember the past, the way things were. Television. Leading age baby boomers like me witness history's perpetuity in black and white. Television had everything I didn't know, but I saw it because it was there. Merry melodies and merry tunes, Betty Boop and Felix the Cat, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, and Elmer Fudd. My young mind numbed with illusion. I saw John F. Kennedy shot over and over, his head rocking back and forth. I saw black athletes raise their black fists to protest racism in America. I saw Vietnam War soldiers spat on their face. Television had everything I didn't know. I saw Neil Armstrong walk on the moon, MLK Jr., John Lewis beaten across the bridge. I saw anti-war protesters mistreated, Kent State students shot to death. I saw Pelé win the World Cup, bullfighters dead in the arena. I saw the St. Louis Cardinals win the World Series. Television had everything I needed to know. I saw Salvador Allende killed by the CIA, Sandinistas fighting with Somoza. I saw Fidel Castro tumble Fulgencio Batista, Mexican activists killed on the mountains of Guerrero. I saw students massacred in Tlatelolco Square with my own eyes. Díaz Ordaz's dirty war against El Pueblo. I saw everything I know. 65 years ago, still latent, infanticized. Today, I continue to raise my fist. I protest. I demand, I proclaim equity, respect for others, for the land, demanding respect for the working class, all of us. I saw it all. And yes, as I read it, I feel that because I saw it and that's what made me. This next poem is after Marty Matz. He passed away in 2001. He's one of the last beat poets. You should probably know that, right? Of course you do. And it's after him. So some of his style is included in here with my own take on my own vision of what I gathered. My gay spines. Pot smoking poet immersed in pipe dreams found on the outskirts of dusty roads, climbing hills dressed in yellow leaves with rattlesnake breath. An elephant dreams. The green cocoons become butterflies released by the seashore, where the shaman puts the jigsaw puzzle piece back in the black hole we call sky. The monsoons, leaving water to dampen the quickest spirit, bring down the highest mind. Thunderbird glyphs etched on bones. Let those dreams swing wrapped in hammocks, gardenia fragrance too sweet for the tiger's claws. Alchemy of love stitched on the butterfly's jaws. Hey, lady, bring your ivory towers, plant your roots next to the copulating earthworms by the temple doors. Please unravel your cosmic eyes. Let them cascade down your shoulders to your lovely hips. And my pendulum grows and glows from heart to ear. Please ease my clock's inner frenzy. I am hanging on the tips of my gay spines, where the skulls are pale, transfixed by the sunlight and the spinning mirrors. The rancid stench of putrid lives live under the gray sky, Mexico's dirty dirt and grime, unexplored madness. Only the stoplight clowns know where to find. Madness lurks and howls, cloying thoughts, waiting for the green hummingbirds to break the purple dawn and taste the sugar mountains of the unknown, along with the stones below. Muddy travel Mexico's empty roads, moving backwards in time to find Coca-Cola, Singer, sewing machines, and pool tables. He called them the unholy trinity. And this poem is dedicated to him. Is there any way I can get a little bit of water? I forgot to bring my stupid bottle. Please. Okay. Next is a little bit of humor. A couple of years ago, as a matter of fact, but by the time when COVID began, there was also something in the news about avocados becoming the new cocaine of Mexico. You all heard that? Maybe you didn't? No? Okay. Well, that's what they said. I heard that on the news. I thought, really? Come on. So I wrote an ode to an avocado. You, shaped like an ovum seed in the middle of the branches, hanging with all your brothers and perhaps your sisters. Did you know that I've known you since I was 5? I really didn't know you then, but I heard about you at that time. You were presented, introduced in my mouth as a mushy, soft, sometimes tangy, spicy, oniony, decadent delicacy, served in small bowls and dipping dishes. That soft, green, creamy, buttery meat, sensation in my palate, could not identify the deliciousness under that hard, crusty skin that protects you. Dark green as my midnight dreams, bumpy as the cloud days bereft of sunlight. Where have you been? Oh, I see. Hiding beneath the bushel crates of transported, imported food other immigrants harvested at the right time. South of the equator, where alpacas, mules, donkeys, and mountain goats go, handled by those humble brown-skinned hands from faraway lands, where the sun shines brighter. You are free, but trapped in a plastic mesh with 5 other guys, your friends, I presume, even though the sign says 4 in a pack. Ahuacatl is your name, but nobody calls you that. I think I know why. Let me ask you, do you know why? No? Okay, here it goes. I'll take a sip of that. Sorry about the commercial. It's just plastic. I'm glad it didn't burst. Sorry. Okay. So you know why? Okay. Ahuacatl is Nahuatl word for testicle. Okay. So now that you know that, next time you go to El Conejo or any other restaurant, just check them out. Tell them, could I please get a bowl of that green testicles, for the dipping? They're gonna look at you like, what? Because nobody calls aguacates by the real name, ahuacatl. So aguacate, avocado, but now you know. If you look at the shape of them, it's exactly like those, right? Okay. So now you know. Okay, next one is, and please, flag me with time because I don't have a clock. So just that way I'll know whether to skip some or keep going. But you got the flag there. Okay, so praise for the walking warriors. This is for all the migrants, the shoeless, the desperate, the risk takers, the caring fathers and mothers, the elders, the young bloods, the babies, the laborers, the engineers, the aspiring writers, the ones who want to get ahead, the humans with colored skins kissed by the sun, the ones who are no longer dreaming, the ones who know the land, the ones who harvest our fruits and vegetables, the ones who take care of our elders, the ones who cook our food, the ones who sing hymns and run and turn prayer wheels, the poor ones, the unafraid, the women who were raped, the young women who want their children to have a better life, to all who desire and arrive and strive for freedom. So it's a praise for all the walking warriors. And people always wonder, we see these things on TV. Humanity has been moving around all over the world forever. Nobody's going to stop us. You can go wherever you want. The governance and the borderlines and whatever, that will always exist there. But humans, we have the right to move anywhere we want. Of course, abide by the rules, of course. Okay. Next is the title of the poem, Cuando no había fronteras, or When there were no borders. The title came from a conversation I had with the former U.S. Poet Laureate Emeritus, Juan Felipe Herrera, at the Richard Hugh House on November 22nd, 2019. We talked about several things, and this is part of the conversation we had. We talked about quelites, watercress, and herbs, good for the body and mind and the memories, embedded in the fibers of acosiles, esquites, elotes, and all that we left behind. Not a coincidence, but a cultural fact. When we learned that nuestros abuelos, padres, tíos y primos crossed la línea to harvest the land, from the Yuma fields to Larry's Groves, Louisiana cotton, cattle and horses, Colorado, Idaho, Nevada farms. They worked the season and then went back before snow and frost covered the ground. Too cold in el norte, heading south to Sunland. We agreed that en aquel entonces, back then, cuando no había fronteras, when there were no borders, they crossed, worked, and went back. That's it. Back then, we were not shadows. Now we walk through the shadows. History has been forgotten. What was dignified then is now a criminal act. A death sentence equals the desire to live, to be free, to be happy, to speak their mind. We belong to this ancestral land. Don't you agree? We have all been here. Our families have been growing and expanding. We're still here. We're not floating in the air. We don't have wings. Well, there's some angels among us, but that's a different story. Time. Okay, excellent. Good. That's all I know. So we're okay. I'd like to invite a member of the audience that can help me with some words in Spanish. Any volunteers there? Thank you. Okay, stand here. So this is a poem in two voices. So I read this part, and at the end of each line, that's what you say. Okay. Life, vida. These days filled with lies,
Mentiras.
fear, intimidation, smoke screens,
Humo.
nebulous particles we breathe.
Respiramos.
Inhale deep because we need
Aire.
air to live.
Vida.
The orange glow,
Respirando.
Father, Son, Tonatiuh,
Sol.
remains in the center.
El centro.
While the planet floats,
Flota.
we make the earth turn.
Vueltas.
The rhythm of our heartbeat,
Latido.
our pulsing heart,
Corazón.
the size of a postcard stamp,
Estampilla.
stuck on the map
Pegada.
of our existence.
Existencia.
The cycle repeats itself.
Se repite.
The cycle begins once more.
Continua.
When night falls, we rest,
Descansamos.
our soul
Alma.
to see the light,
Luz.
the new wind of change,
Viento nuevo.
the new day.
El nuevo día.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. How about, okay, September's last day. Our daughter used to practice her violin at a church in North Seattle, and every time we went there to see their auditions and their recitals, I even practice. I always sit there and start imagining, seeing things. So this came from that. The church also has a different purpose, specifically the basement, and it's coming. September's last day. Church, sanctuary, stained glass and filter light. Children play violin, cello, century-old songs with flair, striking every note on cue. Fingers press strings, vibrato, memorized process contained in their young brains. Each artist bows at the end of every song. Meanwhile, the homeless file into the basement as if entering purgatory, leaving behind dirty alleyways full of filth. No psalms read at night, no amen or hallelujah between the pews, only the sleeping bags rolled out to crash below the heavens and the safety of the Holy Ghost. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see. Would somebody like to help me? Ladies, anybody? Come on. You already read. Come on. Anybody? All right, come on. There we go. Thank you, thank you. No, this is, yeah.
I was not listening. Chris and I were chatting for a minute.
Why don't we sit stand opposite?
Oh, stand
Replace
Oh,
this.
yeah, please.
Because you read the right side and I read the left side. Okay, this is another poem in two voices. Silent silence. Silence,
Quiet murmur,
palpitation,
silent heart,
silent,
wind breeze,
women,
walking,
distant,
silence,
a thought,
evoked,
silent wind,
quiet sails,
silent shores,
silent waves,
silent dawn,
silent warmth,
silent trees,
wave,
silent branches,
sway,
silent birds,
glide,
down, down,
in silence,
silent hills.
silence,
I close your
silent eyes,
body,
silenced,
lifeless,
silent,
silenced,
sealed,
silently,
I murmur
a prayer
of love,
in your right ear.
silenced.
Oh. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Of course, thank you.
All right. All right, so we're done. 5 minutes? Right? Thank you, thank you. Thank you. I seriously, honestly appreciate your being here today. It's been so long since I've been wanting to read from these poems because I just don't read them flat. I like to put myself in them, right? I'm not a slam poet. I wish I could memorize all this. My brain is like I put post-it notes, like things I remember. Once I open the window, they all fly away. Please, thank you to Gerardo Calderon. Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's hear it again for Raul and Gerardo.
Yay.
This is the portion of the evening where we take a 15-minute break. There are 2 different books by Raul for sale. Kathy will help with the sales on that. And we also are taking donations over here by where Lorraine is sitting. So about 15 minutes. And then when we come back, we will have more Ghost Town Poetry open mic. Thanks so much for being here.
Excuse me. There's no audio. Is there an audio for Zoom? What happened?
Thank you to everybody who's bought books. Thank you to everybody who's donated. We appreciate that. Okay, yeah, I can make that happen. Yeah, we, just so you know, like we usually only have people up one time, so you know what I mean? So, okay. And our reading has always been the kind of reading where we don't really have rules, we don't really have time limits. So what I would say to you for the future is like, if you have a couple of things to do, come up and do a couple of things, and that's totally cool, you know? We've always been kind of loosey-goosey that way, you know what I mean? Because we like it that way. Yeah. Yeah, good. I'm glad you came. Okay, Kathy, are you feeling ready or? Okay. About another minute. Morgan, when you have a chance, I want to talk to you. I decided if it's okay with you to have you introduce the next bunch.
Yeah,
And
totally.
then put our names next to it. So you'll be like these 4, and then I'll do 3, and then
Yeah.
there's another 4 that you'll do. And I guess what I was thinking was after Jim's, then I'll introduce you to do your thing, then you can introduce me and I'll do my thing. Does
Cool.
that make
Yeah.
sense?
Heck yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
It's all
Right
yours.
on.
Kathy went to the bathroom, so as soon as she gets back, that's when we'll start.
Cool. All right. Sweet.
You doing okay?
Yeah. What about you?
Doing great. Did you get what I sent you in the mail?
I did. Thank you.
Good,
Oh my
good.
gosh. Yes. Well, I already started writing a letter yesterday, but I haven't been home for like 4 or 5 days. So I finally got it. Because you dated it for earlier this month. But yeah, I did get it
Okay.
like this
You know,
Tuesday or whatever.
It's okay with correspondence for things to be
Oh,
like,
totally.
that's the thing that's cool about it. It's like slow. You
Yeah.
know?
Oh, I love it. I still love it. And it's like a treasure trove of just cool shit. So I appreciate it.
Raúl has bookmarks, so I guess raise your hand if you want a bookmark. He's walking around with them.
Is this on?
It appears to be,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That's why when I was talking to you before, I was trying to be over here, but
Totally.
it seems to be on. It's weirder with the mask on.
is.
It's harder to tell somehow.
It's
It could
hard to-
also be this because they have this up a little higher.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it doesn't sound quite as loud as what I'm used
And
to.
then I
but-
think the light is good, but it's a little bright. I don't know. What do you think?
Okay. I thought that it was okay, but if
Yeah.
you think it's too bright, then I would talk to these guys
I guess
about
if
it.
people are looking down.
I'm sure they can adjust it. Are we ready, Kathy? Seems like we're ready.
Cool. Welcome back, everybody. Super excited for the second half of Ghost Town Open Mic here in Vancouver, Washington. Founded in 2004. Thank you so much to Raúl. That was an amazing set. So beautiful, really beautiful work. And the accompaniment as well was just gorgeous. So what a treat. Next, I'd love to introduce our next reader, Max L. Max, welcome.
All right, so this is long. Gonna try to squeeze into 5 minutes. If someone can give me a signal if I'm running out of time, I'll wrap it up. Also, content warning, this talks about a lot of morbid things like death and so on and so forth. So one thing that the pandemic and all my newfound free time highlighted for me was something I've always known. When I'm not rewatching Tiger King, I fucking love reading Wikipedia. Deep dives, rabbit holes, let's go. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. My phone's on 3%. I can hear the birds chirping outside, but I'm not done. I want to read about the discography of Blue Oyster Cult, Sean Penn's personal life after divorcing Madonna, the Boxer Rebellion of 1899, the history of the burrito, cat geckos. Bring it on. I want it all. Fuck sleep. If it wasn't for Wikipedia, I probably would have read every book on my shelf, learned to play piano, been hygienic. None of that is as important as learning about who blew the 1993 World Series. I don't even like baseball. And goddamn, do I love reading more than anything else about villains and evil deeds and awful things. I started to realize by about May of 2020, I was running out of serial killers and Nazis. But what I started to realize in these late night pointless knowledge grabs of morbidity is that within all the rich mosaic of detestable human behavior, patterns emerge. Patterns about what those kinds of people say and the excuses they make. For example, Albert Speer, Hitler's Minister of Armaments, wrote a self-serving memoir that conveniently left out all the times that he was happily helping to pull the levers in the Holocaust. He even spun a story about telling Hitler at their last meeting that he had been heroically defying Hitler's scorched earth policy, causing Hitler to cry. He wrote, "One seldom recognizes the devil when he is putting his hand on your shoulder." Sure, Albert, you tried. Heinrich Himmler, leader of the SS, stated in his 1943 speech in Poznan regarding the Holocaust, "Most of you know that I am not a hard man, nor do I shy away when something rough must be done. The difficult decision had to be made to make this people disappear from the earth." Sure, Heinrich. But Nazis are low-hanging fruit. Let's read about, I don't know, George W. Bush. In his post-presidency memoirs, Decision Points, he wrote, "No one was more shocked or angry than I was when we didn't find the weapons of mass destruction. I had a sickening feeling every time I thought about it. I still do." Sure, Bush. I'm sure all those dead Iraqis would nod in sympathy, if they could. Who am I kidding? Bush is low-hanging fruit. Let's talk about some slightly more unsung evil, like Roy Bryan of Mississippi, who kidnapped and beat 14-year-old Emmett Till for whistling at his wife, then murdered him for refusing to apologize, was acquitted by an all-white jury, and later admitted to the crime in an interview with Look magazine, saying, "Well, what else could we do? I'm no bully." But he was hopeless. But that was a long time ago. And on May 25th, 2020, I lost it. Sorry. On May 25th, 2020, Officer Derek Chauvin, in response to a bystander who asked why he'd knelt on George Floyd's neck, said, "That's one person's opinion. That's a big guy. We need to control him." But murderers in general are low-hanging fruit too. It's time to read about a cop who just tried to ruin a good time. Seymour Pine, the NYPD detective who led the raid in June of 1969 that became the Stonewall Riot, said years later, "Many police certainly were prejudiced against gays, but had no idea what gay people were about." Sure, Seymour. But when I decided that all this was getting depressing and I needed a break from the morbidity, I decided to read about my favorite place on earth, Salvi Island. And I learned that this was the original home of the Multnomah tribe of Chinook people. No wonder I always felt like something was dormant and hibernating there as I walked in the sun. Almost everyone in the Multnomah tribe had died by 1820 of an unknown illness brought on by the colonists. And sitting in the darkness of my room, phone in hand, birds chirping outside, I wonder if anyone mourned them. And I wonder if anyone was standing there, shrugging his shoulders and saying that no one could do any better. And as this thread weaves its way past my glazed eyeballs and into my overstimulated brain, it reinforces what I always knew, even when I was fooling myself about going to sleep on time, that behind every atrocity that stops this world from being the kind of dandelions and puppies and kittens and rainbows and heavy metal filled rock and roll kind of paradise that everyone knows it could be, and where everyone gets what they need and we can all live in harmony and without injustice, there's some arrogant motherfucker holding the reins, shrugging his shoulders, and claiming that at this moment in time, we all just couldn't do any better. And I have to say that, like the cops that night at Stonewall, those people have no idea what we're about. And it's past time for us all to start throwing bricks. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Max. That was really powerful. Wow. Next, I'd love to introduce one of my favorite poets living in Portland, Oregon, all the way across the bridge. He came over to be with us tonight, Igor Brezhnev. Hey, he's my friend too.
I got a couple of poems to share with you, a couple of short ones and one from the book that I'm holding. Subtitle preference. I like my English bent, like junkyard card parts in quartzite, not quite 2T2222, not quite a prehensile grip on reality, just enough radiant honey to make me a bumbling bee. Just enough dirt on my tongue to want that loving baptism by the trembling blue ocean sea. Make it growl feline notes into my spine and do the twist on my ashes when comes that fire time. Humor me, please. Let it burn and melt as cotton candy on your red lips. Thanks. So this is a book from a series called Night Since, and I wrote it in a year, 2019, 2020. I wrote every night for 363 nights, documenting the emotional landscape of being without a home. And this is night 115. Showers are incredible. So are beds. No, really. Both of these inventions are unbelievable, as in, I'm starting to forget how it's like to wake up in a bed each morning or how it is to stand under the falling water daily. Take away something long enough, and that something is a miracle. I forget how every day it was to open a door to a home, it's empty, greeting tired feet. Forget how it feels to walk without the bag weight permanently attached to my back. Forget if I ever was a belonging, if I ever was not another alien. See, in Russia, I was Ukrainian. See, in Ukraine, I was Russian. See, in America, I'm accent. See, in the world, I am lost. See, in a city, I'm a speck. See, on the road, I'm just a pair of boots. I ask to be human, but this request, a tumbleweed in a parking lot, waiting on a janitor or an artist who takes found objects to a studio, makes things for the rich to admire. See, isn't it a damn miracle? This tumbleweed lived once, was green, knew sky water, knew earthbed, knew a home. Thanks, y'all. So I guess I'll be back here on November 11th, reading a whole lot more poems. So if you're around, come on by. And I'm going to finish off with a poem that utilizes multiple languages. I'm an immigrant, and languages, I've never met a language that I didn't like. So they all kind of sip in. This is night 114. These sunsets keep coming at me, relentless parade, shadow march. I keep wanting to find an us in this. But no, this procession is a solitary thing, a lonely thing, a thing hanging from a dead tree. skeletal structure. After a while, answering questions is a burden. Weight of it stifles breath. The way it sits on my chest, goading worth and value of being less thing. I drown it all in smoke and coffee. In the end, it won't be cigarettes that get me. It'll be the Atlantic Telephone and Telegraph Company sucking me dry for that backlit shining lifeline. And that was not the poem that I was going to read. But we'll end at that. Thank you very much. Thank you to Christopher and Morgan for hosting this. And thank you for Art in the Cave. This is a wonderful space. Very glad to be here, and for all the wonderful voices we get to hear today. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you so much, Igor. Yeah, definitely join us for next month because that man's got some things to say, and it's going to be a good one. I mean, tonight was good. It just keeps getting better, really. We're here and it keeps getting better. Next, I'd love to introduce an old friend of the mic who I haven't seen in years, and I'm really, really excited he's here. Russ, come on up, Russ.
I like having a face. I like seeing faces. I've missed faces. The first part of last year, that really hurt me to watch people and be missing 50% of what I knew was communication. One thing I did find though, eye contact became much more comfortable with strangers. We have these rules. We're not supposed to look in eyes too long. And we have these rules about hugging and all this. And a lot of what I learned, if I learned something from last year, was about how you know something by its absence. And I've heard that, a few people saying that about community, about being together. But also that time gives us that chance to find parts of ourselves that we have forgotten or didn't know. So I don't have, well, I'm sharing my voice there, but my writing has been blocked for various reasons. And a lot of what I've understood now is because I lost my context. And this is the context right here. So it's very beautiful to see you all here tonight. And I want to bring another friend who this month was very important, Miss April Bullard. She likes to write the spooky stuff, the darkness. And Julie found this recently, my beloved. A lot of these are short stories that might be a little too long, but it starts with a poem, Guardian of Forgotten Souls. Does anybody remember the project, the prompt she gave us? And it was about the asylum in Salem when it shut down. A lot of people have heard the stories about people who were the residents at the asylum going on field trips, most notably to Portland, and then they were just dropped off and abandoned there. I've done a lot of work with homeless activism, and I think I've seen some of those people, the older generation, talking to themselves, lost. But this is about something they discovered in the asylum. They found urns, and people just left and forgotten. Guardian of Forgotten Souls. I am one of the guardians of forgotten souls, a watchdog of death that tallies and tolls, born from the energy of discarded lives, bound to proclaim their unhallowed demise until they are found and in sacred ground lie, or their last drop of kindred bloodline dies. Discharged to patrol a crumbling fortress, once a gleaming, seemingly charitable hostess, built to so cleanly segregate and contain, with iron-barred windows, doors locked, and gates chained. Those whose feeble frames and skewed brains were more than their families could bear or sustain, until they succumbed to lingering ills, or their addled minds failed from anguish and pills. Those deformed or simply unable to reason, or confounded from the march of seasons, were housed in sterile, pale walls and held captive, not to disrupt the lives of those able and active. Their unclaimed corpses were efficiently burned, remnant ashes collected and sealed in urns, forms properly filled out and papers filed, each canister numbered and neatly stockpiled. In a shelf-lined room beneath the foundation, locked to maintain their death as salvation. Many years passed and the metal jars mounted. The basement room full, over 3,000 counted. Disregarded, dismissed, memories lost in the gloom. That burial chamber, now a dungeonous tomb. With emotional strength, not corporeal form, I must make manifest that blasphemous dorm. All the cast aside, unmourned souls resonate, and my ghostly spiritual powers grow great. With the ferocious fury of the unjustly damned, fulfilling my duty, a door will be slammed. I make the pounding and pleading of souls, sealed in tin, echo in each footfall of those passing within. I whisper through windowsills, leave frost on the panes, shed tears down the walls, the paint blisters and stains. I grow in your shadow, monstrous shapes, dance and bend. Then I breathe down your neck. Every hair stands on end. My frigid finger that traces your spine beckons you to discover those souls confined. I am one of the guardians of forgotten souls, a watchdog of death that tallies and tolls, born from the energy of discarded lives, bound to proclaim their unhallowed demise, until they are found and in sacred ground lie, or their last drop of kindred bloodline dies. April Bullard. Shortcuts through the shadows.
Thank you so much, Russ. It's really good to see you. Next, we're going to hear from Elmo Shade. Elmo, come on up.
Thank you. So now that I am a grandfather to a 10 and a 5-year-old, I was moved to write something about the memory of my own. And it's just simply entitled Grandfathers. I never knew either of mine except one ride in his 57 Ford pickup, a torn front vinyl seat with a running driver's side windshield crack. His breath smelled awful of bourbon and clothes like chicory, just like the stained coffee mug on the dash. I was only 5 or maybe 6 years old. I remember the ice cream cone he bought for me, a double scoop orange swirl, and the hand-rolled cigarette that dangled down from his lower lip. He would spit at you when he thought I wasn't looking, and even gasoline straight from the can wasn't enough to clean earth and nicotine from his nails. My grandmother left him and 5 boys soon after, and I never saw him again. He died of a broken liver and too much Jim Beam, but I didn't know who that was. I dreamt of him once. He was tossing feed to the chickens with one hand and pulling up his beltless pants with the other. The ash looked as though it had never left his lips. And the other one, he died when my mother was only 12 years old, when she had not had her first cigarette or high school dance. Marshall was his name, and I don't say it enough. Thank you.
Wow, those are kind of slimy. Elmo is hosting a reading at the Chemist Library, and we went and it was a lot of fun. Elmo, when's the next reading at Chemist? So this coming Monday. All right. Yeah, head over there. It's really fun. And I'm glad we have a new event and also an open mic in Camas. I don't know of any other poetry open mics in Camas. If anybody knows, if there are, let me know about them, because I help people in the community find out where these things are. So, but very happy that that's happening, and I wish you much success with it. So next, I would like to introduce my friend and one of the artists here at Art at the Cave, Kathi Rick. Come on up, Kathi.
I'm so nervous. And we go from the sublime to the very arcane, but there's a reason why this is the way it is, and I'll talk about it briefly after I'm done. Can you guys all hear me? Woke we with light of sun-fast burnished, bright, fair, and stark in October sky, joy and fear in that mornlight mighty as girded mail and helms anoint. Arose helmed men of great heart and mighty limb, heft horrible axes, two-handed, to hilltop ventured vast, eight apple tree of aged hoar, strong shoulders meeting in ring unbroken, grim set eyes fell, stare below. On plain below, on heaving horses, bastard foe south standing, we laugh then high on hillock, while hearts grew clear at joy to meet the hated host. Horns blowing, terrible trumpets, archers, foe forward ride, we stand foot strong, meeting stoutly, bane of horses, axe held high, hearts fill with land proud singing, meeting those who dare come. Bloody met, foe to foe, yield not we, they dare not pass. Look forth, up and to herald king, fighting man our hope, stand fast. Kin brothers, girth, Leofan standing, king's brothers, mighty hearts leading, these craven knights, bastard men turn flee. Stand fast, cry king's men, breaking ranks, follow the wild retreat. Bastard knights, those craven, wheeling, turning horses circled death, our brothers falling, ridden down, defiled, there fell Godwin's sons, brave blood to water weeping soil. 3 times ride the bastard knights, breaking forward shield wall uneating, stern housecarls, king's men, rain fell blows, cleave beast and man. 3 times ranks breaking as knights retreat to visit death to those that follow to a man. They cannot break our crowned hilltop stand fast. Shouts joyous fell and grim, bright morning turns noonday, parched hell, throats stay, fought all on wasting pass. Horses slipping, blood like rivers, gory hilltop hard as helms, 3 horses slain beneath that bastard hateful foals, a fateful knell. Shoot skyward from bastard's lips, archers attending they mark his words, arrows arcing with sound wind shrieking, death reigns unlooked for, omen tide. Brave herald king, Godwin's son, looks to heaven, sees the shafts too late. Eye pierced then with a mighty shout, agonizing, he tears it forth, but fights on. There is a cry, the king has fallen, shield wall that stood so fast, shatters in griefs, the folly wounded, breaking heart, great England's fall. Riding forth 4 knights by these bastards chosen, through cracked shield wall, through fleeing men to herald, through breast and heart and neck, swift cloven hack those cowards, now lies Harold dead, that bright sun diminished at day's end, in sorrow now down lays his head. In horror, mists of even falling, great England rallies, circle fell encountered knights of bastard legion, blood lake of carnage brings, the last of England's brave men, fleeing into woadlands wilding, from bastard men the field has been taken, cast fate and omen and death defiled. Hush, hush, hush. In the after morning light, the sun shrouded, amongst the felled, unbound and unfettered, Filled with nameless sorrow, Edith walks, the swan neck, kneeling tearless. She bows gently down, softly touching lover's markings on broken body, Harold King recognizing lover, handfast husband, father, sorrow reaching, bearing butchered body proud. On wild cliff rock, sea tossed looking, secret Harold, his bones buried lie, guarding death-kissed at land beloved, watch keeping shores that he loved so well. Does anybody know what that's about? Anybody know what happened? The reason this poem is about the reason why we speak the language that we speak today. Battle of Hastings, 1066. Yep. And that's why we speak the language we do, is that single day in battle changed the English language 100%. So.
Thanks, Kathy. Kathy, anything you want to tell them about what's happening at the gallery this month or later? Anything else?
And they're going to be having a function either the 28th, but we'll get that out. And next month is going to be open studios. So it's going to be really fun. And we're open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 4.
Thank you. And is Open Studios going to be in person this year? You're going to be able to actually go to the studios again?
Yes.
All right, that's exciting. Yeah, it's been a real successful and fun event here in Vancouver for a while, and I'm glad it's back. I'm glad it's, yeah.
I might add it's going to be a hybrid event, so if you are not comfortable in person, there's going to be ways to visit artist studios. Everything's going to be online in terms of the latest possibilities because of the restrictions of COVID. So
Great.
you go to Google or you'll be able to find out all the possibilities. So there are more than one ways to see the artist's work. But here will be one example of each of the 50 artists who will be showing, which is a great way to start. Then you know whose work you might want to continue to explore.
Yeah, and if folks don't know about the First Friday Art Walk, that's also something that was kind of on pause and is now back. So come down here on the first Friday of November to see those artists that are part of Open Studios. And I know that there is a smaller version of this, like a postcard version somewhere here. Yeah, so you could take something home with you if you think you'd be interested in Open Studios. It's really a great thing that happens every November here in Vancouver. Sure, of course, please. That's all right. All right. Thank you. And thanks, Kathy. Thanks for being brave enough to get up here and do your thing. Next, we're going to hear from someone that you have heard from before. It's quite possible he was there in 2013 as well. I guess he can confirm or deny that. Ian Caton. Come on up, Ian.
Hey, everybody. I like coming up here because I get nervous. I don't do any drugs anymore, so this is like my drug. I get high up here. Make sure I got the music set right. It's called Sticky Fingers. They call it the Homeboy Shopping Network. Why I'm gonna walk into a store first off and see what I can walk out with. Slide a hard pack of Marlboro Reds into my right pants pocket, just below the magazine rack. They'll never see it gone, a disappearing act. Take two, then put one back, and it's gone. And I'm walking out like I don't know what I was looking for. Or I walk into the grocery store where they selling CDs and cassette tapes. You know, back in the day, and we was the originators of the backpack crew. Look around for a security camera because we know what to do. That new Slayer, it's mine. Or that Led Zeppelin discography, I'm taking it this time. All from Zoso to Coda, it's going into my backpack, and then I zip up and it's gone. I'm like a magic act. I ain't putting it back, a disappearing act, because I'm gone. Verse 2. Or like the other day, I'm about to get my drink on, but I ain't got no cash, gave it all my paper to my lady. Cause you really don't wanna see her go crazy, missing child support payments or write another check to pay for her rent. And I'm like, damn, I'm getting thirsty, you know? So I put on my baggy jeans and walk over to the grocery store. And you know that aisle up by the back where they keep all the meats and the butcher shop, that's where they keep the bottles so I can pop a top, take a skinny bottle of Johnny Walker Red, fits right into my pants, goes right to my head, because I got sticky fingers. I got sticky fingers. If it ain't nailed down, then it's mine. They say no fortune was made by legal means, so we taking what we got to every time. Come on, we're going more. Come on, you can hear it right now. You don't even need to hold that right now. First rule of the Homeboy Shopping Network is you never talk about what happens in the Homeboy Shopping Network, or you'll wind up needing to get some neck work done, because my whole backpack crew's got my back, son. I'm gonna say that again. First rule of the Homeboy Shopping Network is you never talk about what happens in the Homeboy Shopping Network, or you'll wind up needing to get some neck work done, because my whole backpack crew's got my back, son. And you never want to wind up looking down the wrong end of the barrel of my gun. So if you see us coming, then you want to run. And I got sticky fingers. I'll take it when it's mine, because possession is 9/10 of the law. Another lesson is what I find is mine, because if it's not nailed down on the floor, then I'm taking it, y'all. All right, come on, a little bit more. Hold on, I'm kind of nervous. I can't turn the page. All right, here we go. This is the end, all right? The end is good. I don't want to mess up the end. Let me see your cell phone, it's mine. Let me see your Rolex, it's mine. Let me see your Jordans, they're mine. Let me see your Kangol, it's mine. Let me see your mixer, it's mine. I'm taking it, son, it's mine. Let me see your Green Bud, it's mine. Let me see your speakers, they're mine. Let me see your Gucci, it's mine. Let me see your sneakers, they're mine. Let me see your Ray-Bans, they're mine. Let me see your dope bag, it's mine. Let me see your tickets, they're mine. Let me see your car keys, they're mine. Let me see your girlfriend, she's mine. Let me see your wallet, it's mine. Let me see your pinky ring, it's mine. Let me see your Uzi, it's mine. Let me see your headphones, they're mine. Let me see your death row, it's mine. Let me see your switchblade, it's mine. Let me see your Kool-Aid, it's mine. Let me see your Brooklyn, it's mine. Let me see your Portland, it's mine. Let me see your disco, it's mine. Let me see you get down low this time. Let me hear your rhymes flow in time. Let me eat some cheese with white wine. What?
Yeah, we're definitely gonna need to wipe it down after that. Thank you, Ian. So, you know, one of the great things about hosting this, and I have to assume being here for people too, is that you never know what's going to happen or what people are going to do. And that's what that's the first thing I remember about Ian when Ian first came Every time it was something different, and every time we didn't know what the fuck Ian was gonna do, but it was usually fun, you know? This is like, we're getting to the bottom. It's getting wetter every time. Oh man, it's dripping. Okay, I have something else that I might spray on in a minute. Okay, next we're gonna hear from Scott. Scott, I didn't know you were coming. I didn't know if you were alive. I didn't know what was going on. I'm so glad you're here. And Scott knows what to do with the mic, so he's gonna be able to figure this out. I love you, Scott.
Love you too, brother. Thank you. I'm not gonna lick this thing, right? You never know. Like a true procrastinator, I opened my email this afternoon to see if I should expect to be scolded for signing up late to join Ghost Town open mic on Zoom. And much to my surprise, Ghost Town open mic is happening in person. What the fuck? I'm a little bit excited to be back here. A lot of new faces out there. That's cool. A lot of familiar faces. That's cool too. If you're a familiar face, I hope this helps to explain where I've been for the last couple months. 6 or so hours into a half-day journey, you offer me a cake wrapped in plastic. I say thanks and take the coffee. I'd also wanted to express more since you asked if I speak Turkish, and kindly explain that I'm sitting on my in-flight headphones, which I knew. By showing me your pair and pointing to a seat I'll vacate in good fortune for a while, leaving us alone between window and aisle. I help you connect to the Wi-Fi, a complimentary 10 megabytes with miles and smiles, which dies after just a few Google Translate phrases, leaving us with your few English words, including the one for how much I know of your two languages, 0 to 1 or 2. I remember in moments, Cappadocia. You show me with hot air balloon and basket. Somehow you told me come someday we'll go up, arriving on free standby flights. You'll arrange with your Pegasus airline counter job. I draw your attention to the view of Greenland seen on this vessel's downward facing camera. We find the Palabra ice and marvel at it. You show me pictures of your family, your father's restaurant, and a beautiful tiny home of sorts being built with stunning wood paneled interiors, taking me back to my childhood as I look for the picture of mama you ask for, realizing even photos of my family are mostly many kilometers away, finding only one saved except of sister, her husband, and Sophie the dog. I learned that you're attending a month schooling at a Golden Gate Academy somewhere near the namesake bridge, staying in a dormitory yurt and studying what I can only assume to be English language. I flipped through pictures of my recent adventures using seat-back satellite images and the motion of typing to convey where I've been for nearly 30 nights spent in modest rented villas, a below-deck cabin with a private bathroom on a boat shared with 3 and briefly 4, the Airbnb I booked with a company credit card in Athens, where we continued to stay, working together in person for now after long days on the turquoise Aegean Sea, enabled by prepaid Vodafone SIM cards, 2 of 3, coffee machines in the full kitchen, occasional talks with Johnny, our Kubernetes, on the depths of life and skippering a catamaran or monohull through these islands for a living made in 1 season per year as a modern manifestation of a mythological truth. All of us are archetypes transcending centuries of life here on a single planet Earth, like the gods and goddesses of Egypt, my original destination on this trip. We pass these hours aloft with recommendations for music streamed from the central computer, conversations drawing on all available language, the charades and sketches saying much of it, and a demonstration of how human we all are. But beyond my ability to express is exactly what I'd been doing here and there and really anywhere with internet, using it to facilitate and promote its evolution. This is what I do now with my laptop, typing away, answering questions, testing the latest, and bringing people together for this peer-to-peer experiment in next generation digital communication infrastructure, which we all so critically need to be free from intermediaries who monitor, control, and exploit is the name of this global game played by the wealthy and powerful. So we stand up and start walking a way forward into a more beautiful world. You offer me hazelnuts, and I smile to explain they are a bounty crop of my home state, something perhaps our places share in common. We exchange notes to translate later. You explain wanting to talk more, and we trade numbers and letters to help, but how to put this subjunctive unknown. My certainty I'll be back before the year ends to see another friend working together in full living color again. But when is a fluid concept within an agile organization and my own limited ability to plan. Check the clock twice because I might be dreaming lucidly already, but can't be sure. This fourth transatlantic hop in 2 months where the line between resident and visitor has blurred, and the culture shock of being back among enormous pickup trucks and a sense impossible to put my finger on of having become a stranger in a strange land, at least until the jet lag fades and I remember the trees. Thanks. Merhaba, hello, Nasılsın, how are you? İyiyim, I'm fine. Teşekkürler, thank you. Ben su içiyorum, I drink water. Sen bir elma yersin, you eat an apple. Anladım, I understand. Biliyorum, I know. Bilmiyorum, I don't know. I don't know how they keep that one straight. Evet, bu güzel hayata diyorum. I say yes to this beautiful life. Seni seviyorum. I love you. Güzelsin. You're beautiful. İyi geceler. Good night.
Thank you, Scott. It was wonderful. And I'm glad you're back. So we'll be transitioning after this very drippy wipe to some spray and paper towels that I have. I'm going to try not to get any on any of you. Next, we're going to hear from Fenn Mcdonald. Really glad that Fenn is here this evening.
Hi, everyone. This is my first in-person Ghost Town Poetry open mic. So I have brought you a tall tale for the Halloween season. This poem is called No Epitaph. The body unburies itself, I whispered to the mud. The gravedigger laid a hand on my shoulder and said, "Come away, it's done." Before the dawn, I paced the hallowed pattern round, the woods shrouded thick with morning mist, slowly emptying my pockets of nameless ritual grist. I laid unseen foundations on forbidden ground. A patchwork scrapbook spelled the name of what was mine to be regained. Long forgotten photographs and taped together phrases conspired to obscure the stumbling, shambling progress of my breathless rediscoveries from those without the eyes to see. I waited till the stars were right, sought the mercy of a moonless night. Coyote cries swallowed the sound of what was lost becoming found. The body unburies itself. The woods, shrouded thick with morning mist, obscure the stumbling, shambling progress of what was lost becoming found. The body unburies itself and comes home again to me.
Thank you so much for being here, Fenn, and we hope you join us again. That was beautiful. Next, we're going to hear from Brittany Braswell. Come on up. Let me get my stuff out of the way here. Happy to see you.
Well, hi. What a night. Y'all are wonderful. Seriously, thank you. All right. I call this one Chasing Wishes. Today, I stood in a field of dandelions and made wishes until every last pappus was blown into a cloud of hope. I drove through a tunnel I drove through every tunnel I could find and held my breath until my lips turned blue and my lungs hurt. I watched the clock for 11:11 twice, then turned it back a few minutes to watch it turn 11:11 again. I made a birthday cake, lit candles that did not belong to me, and blew them out. I plucked a single eyelash from each eye, set them on the tip of my finger, and blew them into wishes. I searched through my garden to find a ladybug. I found 3. I filled my car with as much gas as it would hold and went on a drive through the countryside in hopes of finding a white horse. I found one, and I watched him stir up dirt for over an hour. I ate a whole chicken just to get to the wishbone. I found every well I could find in town, and I used all the spare change that I had in my car. I watched the sky turn dark. I waited for the first star, and then I looked at the dark night sky for hours, wishing upon shooting stars and airplanes, but you still didn't call.
Thank you so much, Brittany. So next we're going to hear from somebody that I remember meeting at Cover to Cover. So the theme tonight, Zoe Loringer, whose mother is also a longtime supporter and friend of the mic. I'm so happy to see you, Zoe, and tell your mom hi. And we hope she comes back soon because we all miss her. Zoe Loringer.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's been so long. I think 7 or 8 years. I feel like I owe some of you an explanation. I had a bunch of children and I work with children like 13 hours a day, and it's totally consumed my life. But I love it. It doesn't leave a lot of room for other things. I didn't even have a poem, but Brittany drove me here. And I couldn't be here and not read something. So I wrote something for you about one of the children that I've been working with for a very long time, who's very dear to me. And I hope you like it. It's never been read out loud, so I don't know what it sounds like. Doesn't have a title. I could write 1,000 words for you. 1,000 of the words you hold inside, 1,000 of the words that hold tight to your trauma and keep your heart enclosed, that false sense of security that you've woven with your silence, but those are your words. So instead, I will hold you. Those seconds or minutes every morning where it seems that I'm keeping you together in my arms, that false sense of perceived roles, my dear boy, because you put me back together with each squeeze. Who needs who? We need this predictable moment in time. Reminds us both that in the darkness, there is a blacker black that can hold us still and center us and fix us, if only momentarily, so we can carry on whole enough to do this, what is required of us that day, before we can find ourselves somewhere safe enough to again fall apart. Did you know that our hug helps me help 20 more yous? Yeah, the wild strawberry-haired girl who is pulled from class to visit mom's prison cell. The girl with the tired eyes getting to school late because mom's addiction comes first and sleeping in the backseat isn't restful. The boy who has never seen better days and doesn't hope for them anymore because hope is weak, like wanting to be loved or to be cared for. Our hug extends to each of them. You are not alone. Dear boy, I'm not alone. They are not alone, but sometimes loneliness is safer. So I'll hold you here all alone in our sea of 1,000 things unsaid. Last year, the house that my father spent 45 years building burnt to the ground, including everything he owned and all his money. And they almost have a new house built, actually. So it's really, really, really close. But somewhere floating around the internet is a GoFundMe for the Lorngers house in the gorge. I know that it's somewhere on Chris's page. I don't really know where to find it otherwise, but yeah, obviously they would have been so thankful for all the help. The money donated to them is why they have a house to live in now, or almost. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Zoe. That was a beautiful piece. And I hope you keep coming back. Please do. Don't let it be 8 years again, okay? We all need to get out once in a while. So next, I'd love to introduce my friend Stephen Mcclure. And I think this is his first time on the mic here at Ghost Town. So welcome, Stephen.
It needs to be a lot lower. Yeah. Oh, low. Thank you. Howdy. Who here knows where Poets Beach is? Oh, good. There is a beach in this area called Poets Beach. So I'm going to introduce you to it. It's my joy to do so. It's where Markham Bridge goes over the Willamette, south end of downtown. That's where I'm from. And look it up on your computer. You'll find it. It probably doesn't need any more explanation. Welcome to Poetry at the Beach. Engraved into stone along this path are inspired thoughts from a new generation of children who speak for the Willamette River, and from the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde who have honored the river since time immemorial. There are blocks of granite along the path there, engraved with thoughts, contemplations by kids 1st grade to 12th. The Willamette flows proudly under the bridges of the Rose City to join her mother river, the Columbia, in the north, and her father ocean, the Pacific, in the west. Walk down the pathway towards the center of all life, rushing body of magic, forever flowing to the sea. As I jog along a paved trail that shadows the Willamette's every move, my mind fills with curiosity. As I walk, the tranquility propels me to the river, leading myself inside of me. I am the Willamette, and my memory is long. In the choir of my currents, I sing a sacred song. Come and seek my silent places where the heron stands like stone. Come and let my song embrace you, seep into your heart and bone. A river is wonderful. It keeps the fish from drying out. That's it for now. I'll be back.
Thank you, Stephen. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I hope that you'll come back. Next, we're going to hear from someone who's been here since the very first time we did this in November 2004, Jim Martin. Please come on up, Jim.
Zoe, it's so good to see you and to know you're working with kids. Yeah, we'll have to talk. In 1967, I was at Clark College, and I was on the honors group because I hadn't married and had kids yet. My GPA went down, down, down, down after that. And we decided, instead of helping the teachers do their annual sale, we would do helping kids in the county who were struggling in school, and that worked really well. And it was in late August, early September. I was driving out where 164th is now. And if you know where Mill Plain hits that, there's that old church. That was just out in the field then. And then I turn right and then go down 192nd or something like that to where this little boy lived that I worked with. And somehow it was different that day. And the whole place was different. There wasn't no 164th Street. I mean, there was a route, a county route, very different place. And so I'm reading this as I wrote it in 1967. And I titled it Universe, and I cannot remember why. Angry sun pounds the road. Hot winds ruffle across my face, lose themselves somewhere in the rear of the car, my Beetle. Speeding down the bursting canyon of baking corn and wheat, crying out in the mummifying choking heat. Rat-a-tat-tat, grasshoppers attacked my speeding Beetle from corn on the right and wheat on the left. There is no time here, just the heat, the sky, strange, blue, yet a furnace. The tall, scorching fields in the road, black, soft, shimmering, disappears ahead with its molten fields, the sun, the heat, the sky, the corn, the wheat, the rat-a-tat-tat. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. And next, it's my pleasure to introduce my good friend and co-host, Morgan Paige.
So I wrote a poetic interpretation of the 7 chakras earlier this month, and I think I have time to read a couple of those. So if anyone wants to yell out a chakra, I'll read that interpretation. Let's start there. I was going to do that anyway. From the base of my spine, the base of my spine, the base of my base of my base of my spine, I stand on my own 2 feet, rooted, satiated, in home, in nest, in earth, in rest, in loam, in being tested. A spinal signification, a red colored initiation, driven by hematite, survival my guide. Embrace now the seat of safety, my love, protruding scribes of grounded insight, inching toward interconnectedness. From a dense and feral persistence, an animalistic ecosystem of matter, of instinct, a stable tint, of succinct linking of the primitive, fundamental, alliterative, essential, deliberative, governed by a sense of smell and of taste. This is the ever powerful, energetic life force base. I think I have time for one more. Maybe 2 more of those. 5th, all right. So we'll go up to solar plexus, right? So it goes 7. Oh, throat. Okay. From the middle of my throat, the middle of my throat, the middle of my middle of my middle of my throat, I speak my truth with ease. Pleased, we raise the communication verbally. A connection is made, a purification is laid with touch of the tongue. We transform negativity into wisdom, a proclivity towards sound, sublime vibrations, and ethereal transformation. Blue, sapphire, turquoise, poised for pronunciation, a telecommunication between the heart and the crown, a gateway to the clouds of enlightenment, through void and silence, by thyroid and balance, an activated entrance, listening deeply in meditative quality, the 5th tantric utility, the chanting voice of an energetic essence, enunciated authentically. Did I see somebody? I can read one more, I think. 3rd eye? Which one, Jim? What are you thinking? All right, I'll go 3rd eye then. Okay, all right, all right. From the middle of my head, the middle of my head, the middle of my middle of my middle of my head, I trust my intuition. Tapping into spiritual perception, the 3rd eye offers a telepathic precision. Indigo between the brows. I release the ego now. Meditation is how. The 6th sense lends itself to experiential enlightenment, a concentrated environment, moments of direct atonement, a higher resonance with Shiva and Shakti, an interconnectedness of souls expertly directing the command center of our psyche. Lightly of emotions, a superior presence woven with humanity. This energy point is the epicenter of clairvoyance and psychic ability. Thank you. Now, I'd love to introduce my great friend, and it's tradition here at Ghost Town to end every mic with Christopher's work and or whatever else he wants to read. So welcome to the stage, Christopher Luna.
It's nice to take these off too, isn't it? Oh, so I have in December a new book coming out. It's poems for, by, and about my son Angelo, who some of you know from the mic. He has participated here. He's come to the mic since he was 4 years old. He's now 21. And they're about, it's a full-length book. There's about 3 poems by Angelo in the book. So I'm very proud to also have this be the first thing that we've sort of collaborated on, co-authored, and it's coming out from the Poetry Box. It's released December 1st. If you buy it before the end of this month, it's at a special price, a couple of dollars off the price. And right over where Lorraine and Morgan are, where the podium is here, there's some information about that book, including a QR code that you can use to do that, the pre-ordering. And Gerardo has very kindly agreed to play along with me. This is something that I've been doing since about 1992, and I really have missed playing with musicians during all of this staying at home and stuff. So he's making me a very happy person by agreeing to do this with me. I've learned so much about poetry and about my own work through working with musicians. And one of the things that it really helps with is it helps you learn how to listen better, because most of the time we're up here alone, right? Hopefully you're listening to the audience and what they're doing, but the only voice or the only sound is usually your own. So it's really been great to be part of ensembles. And even in duos, you have to listen in a different way than you do when you're just listening to the lovely sound of your own voice. So thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to read one poem from that new book that's about to come out, and then two poems that are related to each other from my first book, which is called Message from the Vessel in a Dream. But this first one for Angelo: sigil to prevent the spirit death of the psychonaut. Catholic school sense memory. The constant purgatory of fear. Below and beyond the honeycomb tile, the solidity of the world recedes. I am safe for as long as this strange vision holds. Later, ego death, the twirling of the leaf, and the sudden separation of the greens. Doors of perception remain open for the duration. I cannot prove that either of us is here or that any of this is real. Certain that I can't tell you what any of it means. But I know that my love created you because I was there at the moment that you slipped screaming into this world. So the book, Message from the Vessel in a Dream, is called that because there's only one time in my life that I ever received lines of poetry from a dream. And they came to me from Carlos Santana. Carlos Santana came to me in a dream and gave me 2 lines of poetry that are in this poem that I'm about to read to you. And he is the vessel because despite his virtuosity as a guitar player, when you see him play, I know, and I've been watching him for years, that he is channeling an energy that comes from somewhere beyond him. And he's very in tune with that, what he would call the universal tone. So Message from the Vessel in the Dream sounds like a weird title for a book, but it's actually kind of literal. Message from the Vessel in a Dream. Completely still, seemingly emotionless, yet blowing notes to charm succeeding ages. It matters little whether one studies flow or counterpoint, so long as eventually the instrument is raised to the lips. You make your appearance known through some creator. Neither Duke nor Train ever revealed the source. A wisdom too precious to put a name to, something not unlike the sound of the heart beating in the chest of your firstborn. Listen to the wind as interpreted. Remember how his hips' involuntary Poughkeepsie shimmy showed you how it was done. Never forget promises made in the quiet of the early morning, priorities set straight, a brick wall stared down till dawn. Experience cool breeze, adrenaline release, and never forget you learned to listen. Don't forget to breathe. Thanks. Now one more. I mentioned different musicians, including Santana in the piece. So, charmed life. It is not easy to come to a definitive conclusion about fortune. Is everything predestined, or do we make our own luck? Can our desires be made manifest? Do we simply dress the chaos of our lives in the cloak of post-justification, or are we mages molding reality to our whim? Slash through the net of habit-forming thoughts. Rock is all about guitar. Jazz guitar is lame because they always play clean, always play it safe, mit out soul. Santana isn't merely virtuosic. He is the vessel for a sound that comes from somewhere beyond him. The vibration of his guitar strings uplifts, sends the heart soaring, causes damaged cells to regenerate. Tone so sublime he must close his eyes. Hold the note till it keens, till it leaps into the stratosphere. Satori, enlightenment in an instant. Nirvana, rapture, never satisfied. After fulfillment, begin again. This castle made of sand melts into the sea eventually. My thoughts about luck become conflated with my thoughts about rock and roll because the music saved my ass. Everyone is a snob about the music they like and wonders why others waste their time on nonsense. This attitude is obnoxious and irrational, but unavoidable. On a good day, life-saving tunes arrive in the mail from the East Coast. My music angels come through again. The soundtrack unfolds. Music gonna make everything all right. Rock liberates, allows us to imagine ourselves as rebels, even when we are completely imprisoned. I gave her my heart when she wanted my soul. Ganesh raises his axe to sever the bond of all attachments. I must sing again, or they will never know it was me who transcended this unpleasant turn of events. I get by with a little help from my friends. Amateur alchemist, remover of obstacles, lover, lifer, acolyte, wide-eyed, submissive, true believer, renunciate, pompatus of, jeepster for. Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much. I want to give Gerardo a chance to make a little announcement here about his music. I'm gonna I'll do this for you.
Oh, cool. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so I was talking with Raúl and Chris about how technology has taken over in good ways, like I sell my music. I used to sell my music. Then I started selling my music on cassettes. Now you're like, cassettes? What are you talking about? They moved to CDs and everything changes, well, LPs and all that stuff. So now the way that we are selling our music is via USB, or thumb drives or wafers. Another thing. Do you know what is a wafer? Do you know what is it? You know what it is? No. So a wafer is a wafer. Looks like a credit card, but has the little thing of the USB. So actually you can fold it out, fold it in and fold it out. So it looks like anyway. So I brought some of my USBs, so just in case you are interested. I included in my USB 9 recordings, which one of them is a collaboration that I did with a friend of mine, Cindy Williams Gutierrez, a good friend of Raúl. And I've been working with poets for a while. So I made a recording with Cindy. It was a great experience for me because I composed music for her music, specifically for her music. And so we did a production. So that CD is also included in my USB, just in case. And I usually sell my CDs, my CDs. Dream on, man, no CDs anymore. So my music, my CDs, I sell them, my USBs, I sell them at $30, but today, I can, sell them for $20 just to share my music with you guys. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you can support your local musician by buying their music. You can support your local poet by buying books. There'll be books for sale also after the reading. And you supported poetry and community by coming here and being here with us tonight. And thank you so much. Come back November 11th when Igor, who you heard earlier, will be our November 11th. He'll be our featured reader. I want to say thank you to Kathy. And is it Nathan? I don't want to get the name wrong. Nathan, thank you so much for helping us with the light and the sound. And thank you to our Zoomers. Thank you to Morgan. And of course, one more big hand for Raúl Sánchez.
These guys are wonderful human beings.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.